You're watching Chicago Bears Now. I am your host, Harrison Graham. Go ahead and give me a follow on Twitter. I'm at HGrahamNFL. Tons of Bears and NFL updates over there, especially during the off-season. Let's go ahead and get into our mailbag here. Delirious129, hashtag Bears. Apparently, Russell Wilson is unhappy. Let's get him. Okay, I'm down. Let's just kind of back things up a little bit here. Russell Wilson is going on the media tour that you see all these big-name players do in the offseason. I think he was on Dan Patrick today or on Tuesday and a couple of other shows. He said something along the lines of, I don't know if I'm on the trade block. That's a Seahawks question, which they're not trading him. Also, what he said is he wants offensive linemen. Duh. The Bears need offensive linemen too. I'm sure Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles said that all season long. But I wouldn't say he's unhappy. I think he just wants to get on the same page with what they're doing in Seattle. I would be floored if they traded Russell Wilson. But hey, like I said with Aaron Rodgers, you're not doing your job if you don't at least call the Seattle Seahawks. Our next question here from Jason Howard, a super chat. Big fan, thank you for your content. Appreciate that, my man. You think Pace loses his job if he doesn't get a new QB? I mean, he loses his job if the team doesn't improve next year, right? Regardless of, I wouldn't say him getting a QB saves the job. If anything, it starts the clock of if he's back for another year, right? Like if you go get Carson Wentz and it doesn't work, see ya. That's not how, he's not going to get another year. So that's why him and Nagy, they have to get this right, because if they don't, it's over. It's blow-up time. So I think he loses his job if there's no progression within the team next year. So I would say you're probably going to win 9, 10-plus games and at least be a competitive in a playoff game, if not win one, for them to be back in 2022. Another super from Kazan for Life. What would you give up for Sam Darnold? I might give up 52 straight up. That's it. I'm not giving up a first. You draft a tackle in the first round, give up 52. You know, I don't love the idea of Darnold being my guy, but if you can re-sign Allen Robinson, you got Darnell Mooney, you can run the football with Montgomery. I think he would be better than he was with the Jets, but there's a lot of unknown there, so that's about as high as I could go. Maybe I give up my second-round pick. Tony Almeida asks, who are some non-QB draft targets that you like? Well, we all know that offensive line is the other major need, so especially tackles. So I got 5 guys here that we'll take a look at here. And obviously you're not going to get Penei Sewell, but he is the top guy, the tackle out of Oregon. There's been some chatter, maybe he could slide closer to the number 10 pick, but even then, moving from 20 to 9 or 10, pretty unlikely. Rashawn Slater, the Northwestern kid, a lot of you guys know about him. He's pretty much the clear-cut number 2 guy. Christian Darrisaw, I think that's more the range you could get to. I think he's in the teens, maybe falls to 20 for you. Alex Leatherwood, Tevin Jenkins, who Mel Kiper mocked to Chicago in his first draft. There's a lot of tackles. These are just the top 5 guys. I'd say there's 8 to 10 tackles that you can get in the first or second round that can at least come in and give you some stability. It's a good draft to get an offensive tackle, which is why I can't trade both my first 2 picks unless it's for Deshaun Watson this offseason. Do you want a draft targets video? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I want to hear from you guys. Do you want a draft targets video, aka players the Bears could draft in the first round or throughout the draft? Let me know. If we get enough Ys, we might just do a video for you. Another way that will guarantee a video is if we get more subscribers. That's pretty much how things work here. More subscribers equals more variety of videos. We can expand our draft coverage. We can do more mock drafts, free agency videos, and of course the latest news and rumors as always. But we're always looking to try new videos out. We get more subscribers, we can do that just for you guys. Bears Football 101, get Fulgham in the Wentz trade. I can't imagine they're going to throw Travis Fulgham in there. I think him and Rager are pretty much off limits because those are 2 young receivers with some upside. I would be surprised if they did that. Zach Ertz, maybe, because he's on the last year of his deal, but he's also making $7 million. You obviously would cut Jimmy Graham in that scenario. Danny Zeff, how about Alshon Jeffrey? How about no? I'm not interested. Too expensive, hurt all the time. I'm out. I don't want Alshon Jeffrey. He's had a nice career, but I'm out on him at this point. Another one from Danny, some good ones today. Opinions on Jaylen Mayfield, the tackle out of Michigan at 20. I think that's too rich. He hadn't played a ton, honestly. He was hurt one year, and I think he was just a redshirt sophomore this year. 20 seems a little rich for him. I'd rather trade back and draft him either early in the second round or late first, but I think there's better options there. Amen Elias, do you think it's possible we can trade up with the Falcons and take Zach Wilson since the Falcons are trying to contend? It's possible. You're going to have to give up a ton to get to number 4. 20-4 is going to cost you 20 this year and probably 2 more firsts, if I'm being honest. At least another first and a second, but probably 2 more firsts. So 3 firsts to get up for Zach Wilson. It's risky, but if they like him enough, I wouldn't rule it out. ISO highlights, trade for Orlando Brown Jr. I was actually going to talk about him on a future video. I'm interested. We'll see what the Ravens do with him. There's been some chatter around him. He wants to play left tackle. That's not going to happen in Baltimore, so they may shop him. He'd be much better than Charles Leno. Again, with all these things, it all comes down to money, how much you're giving up. And to me, and the key with any Bears trade is, until quarterback is solved, you can't really do any of this other stuff. So I think you got to wait and see what the quarterback situation is before you go trade for a guy like Orlando Brown Jr. You guys can follow me on Twitter at HGramNFL. I told you guys earlier, trying to increase my clout over there, if you will, like the kids like to say. I'm almost at 2,000 followers. I'm like 1,800 something. Help me out. I got tweets going out all day around the Chicago Bears, the NFL, some other sports as well. You can ask me your Bears questions there too. If you didn't get your question asked today, just go ahead and follow me at HGramNFL, slide in the DMs, and I will answer some questions for you guys. Dayton Holt, should we sign Nelson Aguilar? I don't hate the idea. I wonder if last year was kind of a flash in the pan because he was pretty damn bad in 2019. Depends on money. If you could bring back Robinson, have Aguilar and Mooney as your number 2 and number 3 receivers, that's pretty fun. I don't hate the idea. Depends how much he costs. And Raleigh, should we get Richard Sherman? I wouldn't mind it. You can cut Kyle Fuller or trade him and save $14 million. Sherman's not going to cost you that much, and probably not a major difference in play either. Sherman said recently he wants to play on a contender, and he wants to play for 2 more seasons. If the Bears get the right quarterback, they can contend right now. So, yeah, I would have some interest. Will the Bears' defense be better or worse next season? You got Sean Desai, the new defensive coordinator, type B for better, type W for worse. I think it'll be better, and one big reason why, I think getting Eddie Goldman back will be a big impact on this defense. I'm going to type my B for better. Go ahead and let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Anger management, Cam Jordan to Chicago. I don't think that's a position I would focus on. I think there's bigger needs. Again, with a lot of these guys, it'll come down to money, but I can't spend big money on any player until I know the quarterback and offensive line situation. So for now, I'm going to say no. Got a super chat from Joe Lacosto. Appreciate that. If you want to ask a question, go ahead and submit it for me. K-Down, would you trade A-Rob to Baltimore for a first? It's a low first, 28 or so? Probably not. A first and a third, maybe, but I'm team #SignAR. You guys know where I stand, so. ARRIGO Munger. Oh, we got a trade idea. I love these. Eagles get Foles, 20th pick, future third, and Anthony Miller. Bears get Wentz and Deshaun Jackson. I mean, I don't like Deshaun Jackson. He's washed. So let's just take him and Miller out of it. I don't know if they have any value. So Foles and a first and a third for Wentz. I think it's a little too much. Maybe if it's a fourth or fifth instead of a third. I don't know. It feels a little rich for me. Got Zev here. Trade Akeem Hicks and Kyle Fuller to Houston. Cut Bobby Massey and Buster Screen. Sign Mike Hilton or Richard Sherman to become a new leader for our defense and mentor Jalen Johnson. I assume you're wanting Deshaun Watson in this scenario. The Hicks and Fuller to Houston thing. I think that's where you're going to. If you get Watson, my answer is always going to be yes. So, sure. Nate DeGreat, do you think we can re-sign A-Rob? Yes. Will they? Who knows? I think he's getting tagged at least. So whether he likes it or not, he's probably going to be with Chicago. Maybe a tag and trade happens. Who knows? But yes, they obviously can sign him. Romeo Johnson, should we get Trey Lance? In my mock draft recently, which you guys can check out on the channel, subscribe and go to recent videos, I actually got Lance at 20. I was surprised on that particular mock. Quarterback slid a little bit, and I was able to get him there. If he's there at 20, that's tempting. Would I trade up for him? That's a different story. I don't know if I'd be willing to do that. But, hey, if he falls and you don't have quarterback figured out, I'm interested. I just don't know if I want to trade up for a guy who's played one football game in about 18 months. Nixon Panthil, Tyson Campbell, or Paulson Adebo, or Rodarius Williams. Out of these three, I know Adebo the most. I think his draft stock has slipped, by the way, the last year and a half. He was going to be a first-rounder potentially at one point. Now he's more like a third-round guy. I like Adebo, but, I mean, do you want him starting as a rookie? Probably not. So why would you draft him to be a backup on day 2? I don't really think so. Z-Backflip Bish. Nice. Should we trade 2 first-round picks for Kirk Cousins? We'll go ahead and go to the next question here, Producer Brett. No, I'm not trading 2 firsts for Cousins, and that won't happen within the division anyway. ARRIGO back up. Sign Mike Hilton or Pat P. I like Hilton. I'm down. I could be a nice piece on that defense. Let's do it. I don't know this name. Sport 8 or G. I don't know. Bears, if we can trade up players to save money, how many and who will we have to trade to repay A-Rob? If we can trade up players to save money, I think he means cut players to save money. I did a salary cap cuts video. I'm trying to figure out what you're asking there. You don't have to clear up that much to get A-Rob. You cut or restructure like 2 dudes, you can pay them. It's as simple as that. Last one here. If you're watching live, we'll get more questions here in about 20 minutes. Will Roquan Smith make the Pro Bowl next year? Should have made it this year. It was a robbery. I also don't give a shit about the Pro Bowl. I don't think he does either. All-Pro is the award to keep an eye on. That's what players care about.